Hi everyone, it's Claire. Sorry, there's no one actually has accepted the invitation this time. So I'm out in my garden. What I'll do is just share some of the customs as I haven't got anyone joining in. I'm going to carry on and do my own thing after that. So I've got it all laid out here, so which is really nice. Our festivals, and it was a time of glad I had that fire going earlier. That was good. The Celts lit bale fires from sunset on midsummer to the next day, and the great solar festival is celebrated from North Africa to Scandinavia with fire. And people dance around the fire clockwise and carry lit torches, and they sometimes set fire to wheels of hay which are rolled down the hill. The wheel of the year is a circle, so it's often depicted with wreaths and flowers and greenery. Midsummer Eve, so that was like last night, is called St. John's Eve, and he was assigned, St. John, to this feast and was born 6 months before Christ, who gets the solar winter festival, the winter solstice. And he is patron of shepherds and beekeepers, and we also acknowledge sheep and bees about this time as well. And also mead is really popular drink too. I haven't got any mead, but I would normally sip a bit of mead today. Also a time to worship and honour water, and goddesses were Matuta, Anhita and Kupala, associated with moisture. St. John baptized with water, while Christ baptizes with fire and Holy Spirit. And in Mexico, St. John presides over all water, and people dress wells, fountains with candles and paper. And also it's a potent time to gather herbs, so I did gather a few herbs in my garden. I've got them. Oh, where are they? Here they are. So I've already burnt some already in my little fire, and they can represent what you want to heal or things you want to, basically lose. Some of the herbs that I got were mint, parsley, rosemary, honeysuckle, lavender, and I've also mixed lovely oils as well, which are really nice for the summer. I'm going to use them in my little mini ceremony. So it's a time to really just celebrate the beautiful time of summer. The Celtic Druids loved mistletoe as well, and many herbs are ripe by midsummer and to be gathered for dry medicinal reasons and use them in the winter. Lavender is also a midsummer herb for love magic, and it can be burnt at hand fastings and sought as an aphrodisiac. And vervain was gathered at midsummer before dawn as well. We can use sunflowers in displays as well. I've got a pretend sunflower on there. And roses, marigold, calendula, St. John's wort. We throw herbs on the fire as well. And we hang St. John's wort over the doors and windows, sometimes for protection. And the sun is associated with the will, vitality, victory, and fame. And as you throw herbs, flowers into the fire, acknowledge your accomplishments, and you could write them in a journal as well. And Litha is great for ritual action, so you can plunge an atame into the cauldron, dry herbs in the fire, leap the bonfire, purify your energy, and make plans as well. So, and the plans that we did at Imbolc and Ostara and Beltane could have come to fruition around now. So if you did join me in any of those, have a think, what did you wish for, and has any of it come true? Foods that are celebrated are things like summer fruit, iced tea, fresh fruit and vegetables. I've got absolutely loads of raspberries in my garden, you wouldn't believe it. And mead, elderflower cordial, elderflower wine, honey cake or biscuits. The fruit seems to be really abundant this year, I think, because of so much sun and some water before. And herbs and plants, so you've got all sorts of things that are traditional, like basil, chamomile, daisies, lavender lily, mistletoe, thyme, vervain, yarrow, ferns, ylang-ylang, elder, fennel, wisteria, verbena. And it's traditional to gather these herbs for Litha, sabbat, and which this is, or combine them with, oils like frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, lemon, pine, jasmine, rose, lotus, wisteria. I have got some of those oils which I've mixed up as well. I've used as well candles traditionally, which I light. I'm going to light them in a while. And I've got basically blue, green, yellow, red. And the incense you can use might be things like frankincense, lemon, rose, wisteria, lavender, myrrh, sandalwood, pine, jasmine and lotus. And I've used little gemstones depicting the colour for each of the candles and the directions really. So I've got emerald jade, I've got green is the north, I've got citron for yellow, which is east, and then I've got red for the south, and I've got blue, I haven't got many blue, for the west. So you can get things like jade, tiger's eye, lapis lazuli, ruby garnet, clear quartz, amber crystal, citrine, sorry, as well. Yellow topaz, even cornelian and calcite and peridot as well. There's certain activities as well, things like fairy magic. So the fairies are closer at this time of year because the veil is thinner, especially today and tonight and last night. Protection spells, purification, love and sex spells, fire magic, animal blessings, scrying, divining, looking into the future, celebrating the power of the sun, collecting flowers, adorning altars, love charms have a lot of power if you gather the herbs today, energy to harness them. And you can tell the story of the Oak King and Holly King, make a sun wheel maybe. So prosperity spells as well work quite well at this time of year. And leaving votive candles maybe in your garden for the fairies maybe. You've got things like cakes and cookies and spring water. And there are several different herbs you can throw in. There's 9 that I've listed on my sheet here, and I've already mentioned, I think. So also got things like gods and goddesses to talk about as well. Just looking, what else did I usually write about? I think I've skipped through a bit of it. We've got so the gods and goddesses would be sun gods. Apollo is a very famous one. Balder, who is Norse. Serenos, Celtic horned god. Dagda, Irish and links with fertility. Gwydion, Welsh. Helios, Greek sun god. Lu, Welsh. Horus, Egypt. Horus. Lu, Celtic and Welsh. And you've got the Oak Holly King as well. Pan and Ra. Sol, Tammuz, Sumerian, Zeus, the leader of the Greeks gods, Prometheus, Ares, war, links with war, Thor, fertility, thunder, and the hammer representing. And then you've got goddesses such as Isis. Oh, something living fell out of my hair then. You've got Isis, Astarte, Diana, who's Roman, and Isis and Hathor were Egyptian. Astarte was Phoenician. Hecate in Greek mythology. Demeter as well. Kali, Hindu. Inanna, Sumerian. Hestia, Greek. And Juno, Roman. And you've got links with Sulis, Minerva, the bath and the waters and wisdom. And you've got Matuta, and wedding patron goddess. Juno is Roman, she was patron of weddings. And you've got Hecate really links with moon magic and witchcraft. And you've got Demeter, really links with the grain harvest and Greece. So that's a lot of what I was going to really say. I've got a couple of verses, so I might do that, and then I'm going to do my ceremony on my own, I think. So you can, cook nice food as well today. It's lovely to do that, really. I haven't done that, but things that are traditional in the summer would be lovely, and drink some, really traditional things like mead would be really nice. So, yeah, let me have a look. I'll just say a couple of things. So I'm going to do the Sun King. Oh, tell me why, tell me why, tell me why must the clouds come to darken the sky? Oh, tell me why, tell me why. Tell me why must the clouds come to darken the sky? This is the wake of Lugh, the Sun King. He lost his life on the solstice day. This is the wake of Lugh, the Sun King. He steps into the dark and guides the way. And just to say a bit about Apollo. Apollo is one of the Olympian deities in classical Greek and Roman religion and mythology, and god of archery, music and dance, truth and prophecy, healing and diseases, the sun and light, poetry and more. And he was honourable, brave and cautious. His parents were Zeus and Litha, twin brother of Artemis. He was an overachiever, honourable, brave and cautious, and he had a good idea of boundaries, law and order. So that's a few little facts about him. And I believe he lived at Mount Olympus in Greece, and he wore a laurel wreath on his head for his love of Daphne. And he rode a chariot pulled by swans, and he could see the future and heal people, and he was deadly with a bow and arrow. So, being god of prophecy, he was patron of Delphi, where the amazing oracles were, and he established the Oracle of Delphi to help his followers. And he fought on the side of Troy and sent diseased arrows into the Greek camp. And after the Greek hero Achilles defeated Trojan Hector, Apollo guided the arrow that struck Achilles in the heel and killed him. And one day Apollo insulted Eros, god of love, and Eros shot Apollo with a golden arrow, causing him to fall in love with the nymph Daphne. But Eros shot Daphne with a lead arrow, causing her to reject Apollo, and Daphne's father changed her into a laurel tree, and that became sacred to Apollo. And he was leader of the Muses, goddesses giving inspiration for science, art and literature. And Apollo and Pan had a music contest. When King Midas said he preferred Pan, Apollo turned his ears into those of a donkey. So those are just a few little things, really. And the myth folklore around this time is the cycle of seasons is seen as a love affair between the earth goddess and the sun god. At midsummer, the union is fulfilled. The goddess becomes pregnant with all earth's bounty, and the man as protector begins to prepare for the year's darkness. It's soon hinted at by shrinking hours of daylight. And there are depicted to be lovers vying for the full light and the other darkness, and it symbolises the two aspects of God: his bright waxing face as light grows from midwinter to midsummer, and his shadowed face as the year wanes and the days shrink from midsummer to midwinter. It's also depicted in the drama The Holly King and Oak King, the key fight at each solstice. At the midsummer solstice, Holly, who is lord of the waning year, vanquishes his rural Oak King, and it's enacted at pagan festivals and stone circles. And midsummer was the time of the ancient Minoan New Year, when the powers of light were at their strongest, and it was at the end of a 40-day period of collecting honey from hives, and this was then made into mead and drunk. And ancient Crete also was very spiritual, and they thought the bee humming was the voice of the goddess, and her priestesses were called Melissa, which means bee. Bees were a symbol of regeneration. And the Oak King dies at the hand of his brother, the Holly King, who will rule until Yule, when the oak will be reborn as the Oak King, and days become longer again. And the battle is celebrated at Yule with God in his guise as the Oak King prevailing, and the days become longer again. So it's a constant cycle. And our Celtic ancestors counted May Day, May the 1st, as first day of summer, and Lammas, August the 1st, as the last day of summer. Then the solstice is definitely midway, and there are celebrations all over the world really for it, which I had mentioned already. So I'll come back to where I started. So I don't know if there's anything else incredible that I could share with you. I think that's probably it. I think obviously people are really busy this time of year, and there's so much going on, which is lovely. I won't bother to record the rest of it, but I hope you have a very happy summer solstice, and I'm going to do my little stuff now. It's absolutely gorgeous in the UK at the moment, so I hope you're making the most of it in UK and Northern Europe and etc. or wherever you are. Many solstice blessings. Bye for now.